Mascara 2b is a giant planet so hot that you can find vaporized metals in its atmosphere. This planet is so hot, it falls under a group of celestial bodies called hot Jupiters. Here's what experts discovered while observing Mascara 2b. Using the Extreme Precision Spectrometer, or EXPRES, a team of multinational scientists were able to look more closely into the environment of Mascara 2b, a large, scorching hot gaseous planet in our galaxy, YaleNews reports. Mascara 2b is a gas giant twice the size of Jupiter located 140 parsecs away from Earth. That's the equivalent of 4.3 quadrillion kilometers or 2.68 quadrillion miles. Mascara 2b is just 8 million kilometers or 5 million miles away from its sun, making its atmosphere reach temperatures of more than 1,726.6 degrees Celsius or 3,140 degrees Fahrenheit. Further observations using the EXPRES spectrogram indicate that the gas giant contains small quantities of gaseous iron, magnesium, and chromium. But why would scientists want to study a planet that far away from Earth? Well, Yale astronomer Deborah Fisher told YaleNews that studying hot Jupiters helps scientists create techniques that can later on help them search for signs of life on other planets. Now, there's no way that humans would make it on Mascara 2b, but fear not, there are other exoplanets out there that could be habitable. Here are two of them.
NASA's planet hunter, TESS, has come across a likely suitor for a faraway home just like ours. NASA's Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, or TESS mission, devised to specifically find Earth-sized planets orbiting nearby stars, has identified TOI 700d as a potential candidate, occupying a star's habitable zone where conditions may be just right to allow the presence of liquid water on the surface. NASA explains that TESS observes large regions of the sky known as sectors for 27 days at a time. TESS identifies and tracks changes in stellar brightness caused by an orbiting planet passing in front of its star. During recent observations, TESS tracked a total of 3 planets. The closest to the star, TOI 700b, is Earth-sized, rocky, and has an orbit of 10 days. The middle planet, TOI 700c, is 2.6 times larger than Earth, likely gas-dominated, and orbits every 16 days. TOI 700d is the only one in the habitable zone, measures 20% larger than Earth, and orbits every 37 days. While the exact conditions on TOI 700d are unknown, researchers at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center created models to explore its potential conditions to help narrow future predictions of the planet's atmosphere. One model showed a water-covered world and the other a completely dry version of today's Earth. NASA says the future missions may be able to identify whether the planets have atmospheres and, if so, even determine their compositions.
The Kepler spacecraft lifted off on March 6, 2009 from Cape Canaveral. Its mission? To find Earth-like planets. When Kepler retired in 2018, after more than 9.5 years in space, it had observed more than 530,000 stars and discovered more than 2,600 confirmed planets. But not all of these planets are like Earth. In fact, hardly any are. The most common planet observed was between Earth and Neptune in size, a world that does not exist in our solar system. To be considered Earth-like, a planet needs to be similar in size to Earth. It needs to rotate around a sun-like star, and it must be located in a habitable zone, also known as the Goldilocks zone. How many habitable planets did Kepler find? Perhaps as many as 12, NASA reckoned. Add one more to that list. Analyzing old data from Kepler, a team of transatlantic scientists has found that a computer algorithm had misidentified this planet, Kepler 1649c. They detailed their findings in a paper released on April 15th in the Astrophysical Journal Letters. Kepler 1649c is an Earth-sized exoplanet orbiting in its star's habitable zone, 300 light-years from Earth. Kepler 1649c's star is called Kepler 1649, hence the planet's name. Among all the exoplanets discovered by the Kepler spacecraft thus far, Kepler 1649c is most similar to Earth in size and estimated surface temperature. The planet is just 1.06 times the size of Earth, and it may share similar surface temperatures since it receives 75% of the amount of light Earth receives from the Sun, though it orbits a red dwarf star, which may be prone to frequent flare-ups. Kepler 1649c orbits the red dwarf so closely that a year on Kepler 1649c lasts only 19.5 Earth days, but it lies within the star's Goldilocks zone, where temperatures are neither too hot nor too cold for liquid water to exist on the planet. Kepler 1649c has a neighboring planet, Kepler 1649b. Kepler 1649c circles the red dwarf 9 times for every 4 times the inner planet orbits. The 9-to-4 ratio is rare and may indicate the presence of another planet, which scientists have not observed because it may be too small or have an orbital tilt that makes it hard to find. Scientists are still combing through the vast data set gathered by the Kepler spacecraft, and they'll probably come across more planets like Kepler 1649c. Also, here are more updates on what's going on in space. The Earth's busy orbit is occupied by space junk. Nearly 5,000 artificial satellites, the Moon, and now a possible temporary resident mini-moon called 2020 CD3. Live Science reports that the University of Arizona's Steward Observatory first spotted the captive space rock. Citing a NASA astronomer working with the university, the outlet reports that the space rock is 1.9 meters to 3.5 meters in diameter. Light reflection from the possible mini-moon is consistent with carbon-rich asteroids. Other observatories have yet to confirm the sighting. It is not uncommon for Earth to capture temporary natural satellites, but most are too small to be detected. This mini-moon has been orbiting our planet for close to 3 years and is expected to leave in April to continue its journey around the Sun. Citing a study published in arXiv.org, the outlet reports there is a possibility that the mini-moon would be recaptured by the Moon's gravity well and become a natural lunar satellite, which is a theoretical class of objects astronomers think might exist. NASA will stop talking to Voyager 2 for almost a year. Starting early this month, Voyager 2 will stop receiving commands from NASA, the space agency announced in a news release on March 5th. This is because the transmitter that sends commands to Voyager 2, the DSS-43 radio antenna near Canberra, Australia, will undergo critical upgrades over the next 11 months. As Voyager 2 travels in space, the radio antenna won't be able to send commands to the space probe while it's being updated. The spacecraft is currently flying in a downward direction relative to our planet's orbital plane, which means it can only be in contact with the radio antenna site in Australia. During this time, the Voyager team will put the spacecraft into a state of inactivity, which will still allow the spacecraft to send back scientific data to the team during the next 11 months. NASA said in the news release that the radio antenna's transmitters and other parts need to be replaced and upgraded, as they are 40 years old and are increasingly unreliable. The DSS-43 antenna is part of the U.S. Space Agency's Deep Space Network, which is used to communicate and receive information from faraway spacecraft. NASA said the upgrades will also benefit future space missions such as the Artemis lunar missions and Mars 2020 rover mission. The upgrades on the DSS-43 radio antenna are expected to be complete by January of 2021. Scientists have found evidence of molten iron rain driven by extreme heat on an exoplanet 640 light-years from Earth. Exoplanet WASP 76b is found in the Gemini constellation, where its close orbit to a star causes extreme temperatures on one side of the planet while the other side is cooler. According to Physics World, the conditions are hot enough to break down molecules into atoms on the side exposed to the star. On the darker side, these can recombine into molecules. The exoplanet orbits the star differently to how Earth orbits the Sun. Earth rotates as it circles the Sun. The exoplanet does not. The Guardian reports that, similar to Earth's moon, the exoplanet is tidally locked to the star. This means that only one side of the planet is continually exposed to the star, while the other is locked in darkness. So, if you're suddenly transported there, depending on what side you wind up on, you'll either melt or freeze. It's these conditions that are believed to create the exoplanet's extreme weather conditions and iron rain. And, as if molten metal showers weren't bad enough, WASP 76b is also home to 10,000 mile-per-hour winds and temperatures in excess of 1,000 degrees Celsius. For more news animations and explainers, hit the subscribe and bell button to join the TomoNews family. Thanks for watching.